Yeah, it is a great crowd. Did you need something to eat? Did they get you something?
No, I'm just going to get some water right now.
Okay,
Thank you very
okay,
much.
thanks.
Hey, Rick, I've always got a spot. We need to start bringing him a book. Yeah.
Yeah. He's brought me much more.
He'd read it. You know?
I guess they just wanted to.
Wow. But it was worth mine, and I showed it to my listeners. I love the banner of Paris. Yeah, we got Yeah, we're doing so much now.
Does it make you think that somebody on the radio is doing this or that? They're supposedly working,
Yeah.
and they're
At
broadcasting.
least make the effort. Sit down with somebody and learn.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing it well.
They do it all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Trying to think of the name down in South Lawrence. This weatherman the other day.
They always get to Butler County.
Oh, they always get to Beta County.
They get to Fayette County.
They get Preston.
Oh, no, that's friendly. I have to switch if somebody does that.
You get a job on a broadcast.
Yeah. That's what you do for a living.
Learn.
That stuff. That's
Learn how to have this.
what you do for a living. Yeah.
Exactly right.
Absolutely.
You know, I moved here from New Mexico. History. I'll give to you who they were raised by. Music is youth now. First thing I did, I hadn't been there 2 days. Decorated my office.
It is where they're paying your salary. Absolutely.
I watched that 42-11 Texas football game from the hill. And then volunteered with the Lord's Club to play youth.
Hey, you're gonna have to pay if you use that stuff up here.
We got a rock and roll.
Yeah, let's do it. Calling you out.
And you're in a little bit of that video.
Oh yeah, I remember. Too much.
You're standing.
I'm standing by you.
Yeah.
Taking notes.
Radio guy was.
I did. Maybe ours is that. He's the one that did it. He said, Governor, I had to interrupt you, but we just gotta call it.
Check, check, check. All right. Jeff, can you hear me in the back there? Can I get a hear me in the right back there? All right. Great to have everybody here. What a great crowd today as we welcome Hunter Yurchek. This is the first time, think about this, in our 15-year history that we've had an athletic director other than Frank Broyles and Jeff Long. So I'm glad you guys are here to welcome Hunter. Looking forward to hearing what he's got to say. I loved his tweet yesterday. The sun will come up, and it will. And here at the Touchdown Club, we're always here on Monday. So we appreciate you being here. And I guess, listen, the best thing we can do, I think I've got something in mind here. Gary, come on up and lead us in a word of prayer, and then I'll tell you what I have in mind.
Somebody came up to the table and said, take as long as you want. We need the prayer. So I'm not going to do it, though. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the day you've given us today to serve you. Thank you for the opportunity we have every week to gather together with friends, make new friends. Lord, we just ask you to use us today. Give us strength, and we ask you to bless us as we serve you today. In your name we pray. Amen.
You know, everybody's seems to be angry about everything in this country, in this world today. And so as our old buddy John L. Smith used to say, smile is a good thing to do. And, just to give an example, I was going to tell Hunter, so if he walked in and heard the Texas fight song, he was wondering what in the world's going on. But RJ was telling me that the live feed for on Facebook is going through, and somebody logged in and heard the Arkansas State fight song. And already, what does Basil think he's doing? I can't believe he's bailing on the Razorbacks already. It's like, I'm telling you, it's unbelievable, man. It's just that we play all the songs, fight songs of the speakers who will speak at the Touchdown Club every year. So that's what we do. Here at this Touchdown Club, we got obviously a ton of Razorback supporters, but we also have UCA, ASU, Division II, you name it, NAIA, all of them. And I know as a Razorback fan, we're feeling a little down today, and so there's only one way I think we should start this meeting right. Hunter, we don't always do this, but I think it's appropriate. We got to call the man. Kanan, get up here. Get up here. Kanan Sandy, ESPN Hall of Famer. Kanan, once you stand up in front, I think it's time for a hall call. What do you think? Let's stand up and call those hogs. Kanan, let's go. Here we go. Pig Suey! Pig Suey! Pig Suey! Razorbacks. Thank you, Kanan. Beat Auburn, he says. Nobody's better than Kanan. Hunter, I don't know if you've seen it. If you keep up with him on social media, I don't know how he and his mom, Ginger, do it. They're everywhere. I want to remind everybody to mute your phone. If you want to text somebody and tell them they can catch the Touchdown Club on Facebook Live, lrtouchdown.com or 1037 The Buzz. You can do that now, but please mute your phone. Also, remind everybody, I want to remind everybody, please don't RSVP at like 10 o'clock on Monday. We're already here, Hayes in the barn. So if you want to do it, maybe, right, Debbie? What about 6 on Monday? No, I say it's Friday, or you're not doing us any good because we've already got to do the RSVP. So just if you're going to show up Monday, just show up and we'll deal with it instead of RSVPing, right? I thought it was great having you Freeze here last week. I don't know if you know, but the club got some national play. Yahoo.com, Deadspin, ESPN asked for the tape. Wally had a great question to you Freeze about the commissioner maybe blackballing him, and that thing sort of took off a life of its own with social media. So it's great when the Touchdown Club can invite guests that deal with topics that may hit the national airwaves. Excited about having Hunter here. You know, I told you that we've only had 2. We've had Frank Broyles, ADs from Arkansas, and Jeff Long. Jeff actually had made 9 years in a row. And so I told Hunter today I expect this to be one of many that's going to break that record of 9. What do you think? Now, just to let you know, me, Joe Green, spoke 2 weeks ago. Too Tall Jones speaks next week. So that's what you're in between. Me, Joe Green, Freeze, and Too Tall. Not too bad a company to keep, right? No pressure or anything, right? All right. Also, want to thank all of our members who have joined. Can't do it without you. You know, we got great sponsors, but all you 50-yard line members, all you folks that are buying those 75-yard memberships or $75 memberships, it means a lot. It goes a long way. You know, guys like Hunter and Coach Morris don't charge anything, and we really appreciate that. We welcome them in and want to support them. Other guys do. And you can't get guys like me, Joe Green, Larry Zonka, Earl Campbell, Too Tall for free. And so your memberships mean a lot. I also want to thank our sponsors. Real quick, Twin City Limousine, Popeye, Greg Hatcher, thank you so much for picking up the crew today. CJRW, I'm excited about meeting with Mark Raines and Dan Sawyer and Darren Gray this week about I want to see what we can do to get Cliff Harris in the National Football Hall of Fame. And so I'm gonna challenge CJRW to help get it done. And so I appreciate them. If you need help with your business, go to CJRW. They can certainly do that. 1037 The Buzz, Justin Akery, Westmore had Hunter on today. Thank you to them. And Roger and RJ, and, of course, Hall of Famer Tommy Smith, thank you for your support of the Touchdown Club. Arkansas Urology, Epic Health. We'll remind everybody, last week was kickoff of National Men's Health Month. Free screening. That was September 27th. Is that right? No. What is today? I'm sorry, it was last week. It was the 11th. And then the 27th is in North Little Rock. So it's National Prostate Cancer Awareness Week. So get in there and get tested. You can get free screenings at either Arkansas Urology or Epic Health, and you need to take advantage of that. They have over 25 doctors and staff that can take care of you, so don't put off those screenings. War Memorial Stadium. I think it's great that our guest today, our guest speaker, made the great announcement that War Memorial Stadium would be a place that the Razorbacks would continue to play football. So I think that's worth a round of applause right now.
70 years old tomorrow.
Yeah, it's if you saw Rex Nelson's article in the Democrat Gazette yesterday, did a great piece that tomorrow, September 18th, 1948, was the first game ever played at War Memorial. Bonus points for anybody that can name the team. You can't, Jim, because you were there. Jim, Abilene Christian is correct. Very good. But, Jim, you were there for that, right?
I was there second game.
Second game. Not joking. He was there in 1948. Unbelievable. Great job by Rex on that. Great to have Kane Webb here with Parks and Tourism. Head there, and Shay Lewis, who saved my life one time live on the radio show with the Heimlich maneuver. That's no joke, Hunter. Live on the air, I swallowed a piece of steak, and I'm choking live on the air, and he has to do the Heimlich on me. Good for ratings, but bad for my health. So thank you, War Memorial. Farm Bureau, Pulaski County. Todd Dennis, Stephen Reichard. Hey, guys, if it doesn't matter whether it's home or property, auto, life, health, business, give Todd and Stephen a chance to quote you and just say you're a member of the Touchdown Club. They'll take real good care of you. I guarantee that. Dairy Queen, Blake and Nelson Lively, Todd Denton. They got 3 stores here in Central Arkansas, more on the way, University in 12th, Cabot and in Sherwood. The Blizzard, the Snickerdoodle cookie dough, or the fudge stuffed cookie are just some of my favorites, just saying. I do want to thank Verizon Arena. Don't forget, if you want to advertise at Verizon Arena, they have 500,000 people that come in. Of course, the Razorbacks play there in basketball every year. 500,000 people come in that arena. They've got billboards, the electronic one out there on the highway. They've got billboards inside. But talk to Jeremy Flynn if you maybe want to get exposure to those 500,000 people every year at Verizon Arena. We appreciate their sponsorship. Big Red Stores, 40 locations owned by the Hendricks family. Now, Hunter, I hope you're just taking notes of all these sponsors, because I don't know if these guys are you can raise their donations for the Razorback Foundation, but these are all strong ones, including the Hendricks family, and 40 locations around Central Arkansas. The newest one's coming on Highway 70. What's the price of gas right now, real quick, at Big Red's? You can lie and say it's lower than everybody else. Roger says never pay full price with your Big Red card. So. Thank you to the Big Red Stores for your sponsorship. Couldn't do it without you. Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings, law firm over 100 years old, over 60 attorneys in both Little Rock and Northwest Arkansas. I didn't mention this last year, but 25 Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings attorneys were selected by their peers for inclusion in the 2000 edition of the Best Lawyers in America. That's 25. And that's a very prestigious magazine, and so we're really proud to have Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings involved with us, and plus they're the sponsor of the Cliff Harris Award. So all the attorneys there, we appreciate you. By the way, our winner, our first-year winner, Pierre Desir. Now, Hunter, that's the top small college defensive player of the year. It's Division II, 3A, NAIA, 500 colleges. The winner, Pierre Desir, is playing for the Colts, had a fumble recovery, tackle for a loss, 2 passes defended. And I love that, Division II. So thank you to Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings for making that happen. Yeah, it's worth a round of applause. Crane Automotive, great to have Larry Crane here. You know you don't get to be at all the meetings, but I love it. You got your jacket on and you got your Razorback shirt on, Hunter. So he's with you. 19 dealerships, the largest dealership group in Arkansas. 11 here in Central Arkansas, 800 employees that you employ. You live here, you play here, and you work here. Thank you, Larry Crane and Crane Automotive. Never pay full price, Larry says. There you go. See, when you're here, you get that. When you're here, you just throw that out there. You get that. The Democrat Gazette, Amanda Copley, thanks so much for your help on the All-Arkansas Preps Player of the Week, who we'll introduce here in just a second. Seth Massengale. Is Seth here? I'm glad there you are, Seth. Seth does our ads every week. I emailing the picture. He says, is this good? I have to make corrections, but you're always willing to work with me. We appreciate that. And Wally Hall over here to the left, we appreciate Wally being here, was one of our founding members. Thank you, Wally. It's always great, too. I get to see Wally at every game. I think I've gone to 70 straight games covering for the Buzz and Channel 7. It's always good to hang out with my buddy. You know, Wally covered me when I was a 17-year-old linebacker for the Hogs, and we've been friends ever since. It's always sort of a neat thing to do, Wally, to be able to be in that press box with you. Last but not least, Simmons Bank, Chris White and Chuck Talapic. I was just telling Hunter about the amazing story. Tommy May is here today, and what the base that you grew this thing from, Tommy. It's been around 100 years, but Tommy really blew this thing up, and then George Macris has taken over, and you guys have gone from $4 billion to $15 billion in just a few years, and it's so proud. We're so proud to have Simmons as our presenting sponsor. And I saw Lunsford. I think Lunsford is here somewhere. To have Lunsford and Tommy May and the crew from Simmons Bank, we couldn't have a better presenting sponsor in America than them. So let's give a round of applause for all of our sponsors. Hunter, one of the things that separates us, too, in the Touchdown Club is that you see all the awards that we do. You see the money we spend on high-definition streaming and all these things. We also have a team like nobody else in the country. I want to thank the Embassy Suites, Brent Bailey, who's done a great job here his first year, along with Ryan Terry. Matt Johnson, who does our live streaming back in the back. Fidelity Local 6 does a great job. Dwayne Duncan, who's been taking pictures for us for about 8 or 10 years. Thank you, Dwayne, for your support. RJ Hawk Media Solutions, doing all of our social media, Twitter, Instagram, our website, lrtouchdown.com. Don't forget about that. Grant Garrett, I wanted to recognize over here, who's been shadowing everybody this year, just sort of seeing how everything operates. Hunter, I don't know if you had a chance to visit with Grant. Grant was on a team that, was not very good the year before, 5-5 under Danny Ford, and really turned around the next year and was playing next to Brandon Burlsworth. Great to have Grant here every week. And if you look at our screen, I think we've got another, I think that's 15 right there, Hunter. That's the volunteer group that comes into work every Monday for free. Couldn't do it without them, and, of course, Debbie Wyman, our executive director. Let's give a big round of applause to all of our team. I need Ron Skaggs and Lee Danner. Where you at? I want you guys to come on up to the front here real quick. But we've been talking about these shirts, so we've got a couple examples, and they're not small. They're not small. There's plenty of room. For the men now, these shirts are cut a little bit larger. I understand for the women, they're cut a little bit smaller. I wasn't in charge of that. I'm just saying that's just the way it is. The women are cut smaller, and the men are cut larger. These are large. Come up on stage. Matt, can you get a shot of these guys real quick? You turn around to the camera there. So these, yeah, this way. So we're talking the ballpark at $25 to $30, and if you want your name monogrammed on the side, RJ Hawk will do that, or on the sleeve, that can be done. So just something that we think we'd love for you to have these kind of shirts on our 15th anniversary. So let's give a round of applause for our models here. Very good, Ron and Lee. I do want to thank Cassie Caldwell and Steve Jenkins over at Hogman's Game Day. Where's Cassie at? Thank you so much for working with us. She's got a low-ball price. These are really nice shirts. Really are. And we couldn't do this without you, Cassie, so we appreciate that. It's time for our All-Arkansas Prep Player of the Week. Tyler, you can come on up. He's North Little Rock senior fullback Tyler Day. Now, this is 2 weeks ago. He rushed for 124 yards, 2 touchdowns in North Little Rock's 35-20 victory over Evangel Christian. Now, remember that. It was called the Battle of the Border. That game didn't start till 10 o'clock, and it ended at 1 a.m., but North Little Rock got the victory. And then last Friday night, you guys beat Whitehaven, which is a last year's state champion in Tennessee. You beat them 46 to 35. And Jamie Mitchell is the coach here. And Jamie pointed out, we've got his parents here, Winola Day and Roosevelt Day. And this is the third day son, third, from North Little Rock High that we have honored as our Player of the Week. How about that? Of course, you know what I asked him. Are you done? Any more? Any more? I know Coach Mitchell would probably like that. So let's give a Little Rock Touchdown Club welcome to our All-Arkansas Prep Player of the Week, Tyler Day. Jamie, congratulations. Doing a great job over North Little Rock. Keep winning. And Winola and Roosevelt, thank you so much. And thank you for raising some great kids and great athletes. Very impressive. All right. This will be an interesting weekend recap. A lot of stuff to cover. Nobody does it better. Welcome Rex Nelson, everyone.
Thank you, David. Boy, you got to love any meeting, don't you, that starts with a quote from the great John L. Smith. You know it's going to be a good meeting, man. Smile. It is great to be here today, all of us representing the state of Alabama, isn't it? One of the great moments in Little Rock Touchdown Club history. Hunter, I'll just tell you this. Get where you work right, or it'll go viral. It'll be national before we walk out of the room. All right, I'm going to make this. David's got the big clock on me again, see here. So I'm going to make this real fast. And as my physician, Dr. Moore, said at my recent physical, you may feel some slight discomfort. So, like slight discomfort, that may be slight for you. It ain't slight for me. But here we go. We're going to make it fast. A little slight discomfort. All right, so hang on. North Texas 44, Arkansas 17. 3 quarterbacks played, 6 interceptions were thrown. North Texas 3-0 for the first time since 1989. North Texas beats an SEC opponent for the first time since 1975. Arkansas is now 9-1 all time against North Texas. They last played back in 2007. Arkansas won that one 66-7. Cole Kelly 16-35, passing 185 yards, 4 interceptions. That's it. I told you. It was going to be fast, wasn't it? We made it. Clock didn't even tick off a minute, David. How's that? Arkansas State moves to 2-1 with a 29-20 win at Tulsa. First non-conference road win for the Red Wolves since 2008. They tend to play those money games on the road. Quarterback Justice Hansen, 20 of 33 passing, 191 yards. He rushed for another 80 yards on 14 carries. ASU finished with 214 yards rushing in that game as they go to 2-1. UCA wins a long game thanks to a weather delay, 33-25 in Hammond, Louisiana. Bears go to 2-1 overall, 1-0 in the conference. Southeastern Louisiana falls to 0-3 and 0-1. Good sophomore quarterback at UCA, Braylon Smith. He passed for 329 yards, 4 touchdowns, 22 of 31 in that game. That game started with RJ down on the sideline at 7:05 p.m. and ended at 12:02 a.m. So 5 hours, a weather delay of well over an hour in the fourth quarter. And I'm going to make this one real fast, Ron. South Dakota State moves to 2-0. They're a traditional power in the FCS with a 90-6. You heard that correctly. 90-6 victory over UAPB, which falls to 1-2. It was 28-6 at the end of the first quarter, 49-6 at halftime, and 70-6 at the end of the third quarter. All right, moving on. All right, I just checked my phone. Something good here, something positive, very positive, in fact, considering the school we're talking about. We have a top 10 team here in the state of Arkansas. Ouachita moves up to number 9 in the country, according to the American Football Coaches Association poll. Division II, they're number 9. Harding is tied for 19th, and Southern Arkansas is 21st. So we have 3 of the 6 GAC schools all in the top 25. Very good year. Those are 3 good programs. Ouachita went to 3-0 with a 32-16 victory at 1-2 Southeastern Oklahoma after outscoring the Savage Storm 18-0 in the final 10 minutes of that game. Ouachita's playing a redshirt freshman. You may remember him from some of our high school things that we do here. He's out of England, Arkansas, Braden Brazil. He rushed for 136 yards, and he passed for another 108 in that game. Southern Arkansas is 3-0, 36-12 over Southwestern Oklahoma. They outscored the Bulldogs 29-0 during the final 25 minutes. Southwestern falls to 1-2. They had the best quarterback in the conference. He's a senior, Barrett Renner. He passed for 362 yards and 4 touchdowns in that game. Arkansas Tech wins its first game to go to 1-2. They knocked Gary's Oklahoma Baptist out of the undefeated ranks. Oklahoma Baptist is now 2-1. It was 31-7. Tech builds a 24-0 halftime lead. They have a redshirt freshman quarterback also. Carter Burcham passes for 2 TDs and runs for another. Harding goes to 2-1, 42-0 over Southern Nazarene. Harding outgains Nazarene 367-51. Only allowed 51 yards of offense. By the way, 356 of those 367 yards came on the ground. Harding hardly ever passes. 1-2 Northwestern Oklahoma beats 1-2 Henderson 30-12. Northwestern scores 2 touchdowns in the final 8:33 to win it. First time, now this is amazing though, first time for the Reddies to lose in the state of Oklahoma since the conference began in 2011. Henderson won 3 of the first 5 conference championships, but times have changed. The Reddies are 1-2. 1-2 East Central, 29, 1-2 UAM, 27, despite UAM quarterback Cole Sears, who is a senior, going 18 of 35 through the air for 314 yards and 2 TDs. So you have Ouachita at 3-0, SAU at 3-0. They're tied at the top. Harding's 2-1, and then UAM, Tech, and Henderson all 1-2. Now, on to the SEC. What a game. I know some of you watched LSU and Auburn. Wow. LSU 22, Previously, number 7, Auburn, 21 on a 42-yard Cole Tracy field goal. As time expires, the Tigers go to 3-0 and 1-0 in conference. Auburn drops to 2-1 and 0-1. By the way, that Auburn loss snapped a 13-game home winning streak that dated back to the LSU game 2 years ago. LSU trailed at one point 21-10 in that game, comes back and wins it. We won't do a Coach O quote today, but you know what it sounded like. We'll save that for another time. Alabama 3-0, Ole Miss 2-1, 62-7. 2 only plays 2 quarters at quarterback, 191 yards passing, 2 TDs. Ole Miss, by the way, lost 66-3 to Alabama last year, so that is 128-10 is the combined score of the last 2 years against the Crimson Tide. Ole Miss scored on a 75-yard pass play on the first play from scrimmage, and the crowd was delirious in Oxford. Well, it was 49-7 at halftime, and they were back in the Grove drinking by then, 49-7. 2-1 Vanderbilt. Oh, wouldn't that have been great for the SEC? Vanderbilt had number 8 Notre Dame on the ropes before falling 22-17, but a great effort there. Colorado State, anybody remember them? Colorado State, Florida beat them 48-10 to go to 2-1. Florida had 341 yards of offense against the 1-3 Rams, and their fans are complaining that wasn't enough. I just want to say, look at the score. You won, and you won big. Georgia, 3-0, 49-7 in Athens over Middle Tennessee. Bulldogs led that one 42-7 at halftime. Jake Fromm, 3 touchdown passes. Mississippi State, 3-0, 56-10 over Louisiana Lafayette. Nick Fitzgerald runs for 107 yards and 4 TDs rushing, and then he throws for another TD as he's 14 of 21 for 243 yards. Tennessee 2-1, 24-0 over UTEP. UTEP is 0-3, and they're the answer to the trivia question of who has the longest FBS losing streak right now. It's UTEP at 15 games. Kentucky, what's up with this? 3-0, 48-10 over Murray State. Murray State had played the previous week in Conway, you might remember, and lost 26-3 at UCA. They go to Kentucky. Wildcats have 528 yards of offense, including 285 on the ground. Missouri's 3-0. Tucker McCann kicks a 25-yard field goal for a 40-37 win at Purdue. The Tigers had blown a 17-point lead, but then they got the win just as time expired. Texas A&M is 2-1 after playing Clemson close but losing. They come back with a 48-10 victory over Louisiana Monroe. Aggies led that one 24-10 at halftime. A couple other Arkansas scores. Division III, Hendricks falls to 1-2 overall, 0-1 in conference, 45-6 loss to the Center Colonels in Conway. NAI Line loses 26-23 to Arizona Christian in Batesville in overtime. Now, remember last week I told you all the GAC teams were out of state? Well, they're all home this week, and Arkansas State's at home, and UAPB's at home. So UNLV at Arkansas State, Prairie View at UAPB, East Central at Ouachita, Oklahoma Baptist at Harding, Northwestern Oklahoma at SAU, Southwestern Oklahoma at Henderson, Southern Nazarene at Arkansas Tech, Southeastern Oklahoma at UAM. What a Saturday. Games in Jonesboro, Pine Bluff, 2 in Arkadelphia, Russellville, Searcy, Magnolia, and Monticello. There is no excuse. Get out and see. Get your rear off the couch. Get away from that television screen. Get out and see a college football game on Saturday. Thanks, everybody.
Rex impassioned. Also, this just in, the Texas A&M game against Arkansas, the time has been set, 11 a.m. kickoff. So it's early. It's early. You know, I do a radio show on the Buzz with Trey Shapp. We do it 4 hours before each game, so that means in Dallas we'll be having breakfast at Jerry's World doing the pregame show, but that's okay. A couple guests from the U of A I want to introduce before we bring up Hunter. First of all, a guy who does more work with the mascot than any mascot handler in America, because that's what you have to do with a wild Razorback. He does a great job. He's a guy, when I restarted the program 23 years ago, there was only one guy that I knew could do it. And he's here today. He's also on the staff of Senator Tom Cotton. Let's give a round of applause for Keith Stokes. Where you at, Keith? There he is, back there. Thank you, Keith. Hunter, I don't know if you've done this or not yet, but you can feed tusk grapes with your hand, or you can feed them an apple with your mouth. Have you done that yet?
I have not.
Have not. There you go. Set it up. So thank you, Keith, for all that you do. Also, it's great to have every time Coach comes down, or having now Hunter, that we have a great group of U of A folks. First of all, just hold your applause to the end. He's been at the U of A for 23 years now. He's a senior associate athletic director, head of public relations. Kevin Trainer, where's Kevin? Kevin, please stand. It's always great. Kevin does a great job. Go ahead and give it up for him. Thank you, Kevin. Executive director of the Razorback Foundation. He's been with the U of A also 23 years, 5 as head of the Razorback Foundation. Please welcome Scott Verity. Senior Director of Development for the Razorback Foundation. She makes a lot of meetings, and we're glad to have her here. She's based here in Little Rock. Micah Strother, please welcome Micah. And also Director of Development here for the Razorback Foundation. She's based here in Little Rock as well. Susie Shin. Is Susie here today? Susie right there. Please welcome her. Are our pilots here today by chance? Are they here? Okay, let's Brian Nelson and Shane Howarth. We always have to get our guests here safely, so let's give our pilots a round of applause wherever they are. There they are. All right, Jim is going to come up and introduce Hunter. Now, I've warned Hunter. I said, there is a chance that Jim Rasco is going to tell you something about you that you haven't heard in 25 years or longer. And let me just say this, too, Hunter. I went up to after the game Saturday rather. I was on the field because the media get to go on the field. And I saw Hunter right behind me, so I turned around and just said, I introduced myself, hey, Hunter, David Bowles. We've met 3 or 4 times, but, the guys meet so many people. I don't know who you can remember. And he looked at me, he said, I know who you are. And so I said, looking forward to having you Monday. He said, yeah. And I said, so anyway, the fact of the matter is, I'm sure he could have took the attitude, oh, this is going to be a miserable thing to be down here in Little Rock. He didn't at all. He's excited about being here. We as a Touchdown Club, we're proud to have the U of A Athletic Director every year. We're proud of it. And that's why we have such a great crowd. It doesn't matter whether we win or lose, we're going to be here. We may be grumpy. We may be happy. It doesn't matter, but we're going to be here to support you. So the fact that you made it, we look forward to many years ahead, and I wish you the best of luck with what you're doing, not just with the football program, but all the programs. So without further ado, Jim Rasco, will you come up and give the appropriate introduction? Jim Rasco, everybody.
Okay, today's speaker was born in Richmond, Virginia, and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. I first found Hunter Yurachek's name in the newspapers back in December of 1974 when he was 6 years old. According to the Richmond Times-Dispatch, 3 young brothers, Jack, Hunter, and Stephen Yurachek, were listed as having made a contribution to the Christmas Mother Fund to help needy persons in the Richmond area with gifts and food during the Christmas season. Remember that? Oh, yeah. He wasn't old enough to read the newspapers back then. By 1985, Hunter was in the 11th grade playing basketball for Providence Day High School in Charlotte. On January 25th, 1985, his team trailed Durham Academy by 6 points with 2 minutes left. However, Durham turned the ball over 3 times, and Yurachek's basket tied the game and sent it into overtime. In the 3rd overtime, Yurachek made 4 free throws to give his team the victory. I do bet you remember that one. Okay, after graduating from high school in 1986, Hunter attended Guilford College in Greensboro, North Carolina. He lettered in basketball all 4 years there. He was the number 6 man, first off the bench during his first 2 seasons, and then a starting guard in his final 2 seasons. As a sophomore on January 14th, 1988, Hunter made 2 free throws with 9 seconds left to defeat crosstown rival UNC Greensboro. Then 1 month later, Guilford hosted Carolina Conference leader Elon College. Hunter Yurachek's 3-point shot with 51 seconds left sent the game into overtime. Then, with his team leading by 1 in overtime, Yurachek hit an 18-foot jumper, and the Quakers of Guilford pulled off their biggest upset of the season. Still right on.
He's not missing. He's not missing.
As I mentioned, our speaker moved in the starting lineup as a junior, and in the preseason write-up in the Greensboro paper, Juracek is listed as a 6' 2" guard and is referred to as being a steady player. Okay, I'll use up the rest of my 4 minutes by fast-forwarding through the past 28 years of Hunter's career. 1990, bachelor's degree in business management from Guilford College. 1994, master's in sports administration from the University of Richmond. 1994-1998, assistant director of athletics for sports marketing at Wake Forest. 1998 to 2000, director of marketing and promotions at Vanderbilt. Now, how about a couple of notes during his career at Vanderbilt? When the regular public address announcer for Vanderbilt's home basketball games was called away, Hunter took over and served as the PA announcer. Still right on. Then in December of 1998, Hunter ran in the Rocket City Marathon in Huntsville, Alabama, and finished with a time of 4 hours, 31 minutes, and 48 seconds. Okay, 2000-2004, Senior Associate Athletic Director at Western Carolina University. And during his time there, I found an article that referred to Hunter Juracek as WCU's Athletic Marketing Whiz. Still going. All right, 2004-2006, University of Virginia Associate Athletic Director. 2006-2009, Executive Senior Associate Athletic Director at the University of Akron. 2010-2014, Athletic Director at Coastal Carolina. In February of 2014, Hunter became the Associate Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of the University of Houston's Athletic Department. And 1 year later, he was named as Houston's Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics and Athletic Director. As all of you know, on December the 4th, 2017, Hunter was named Vice Chancellor and Director of Athletics at the University of Arkansas. Okay, that winds up my 4 minutes that David allots me, so here's the man you came to hear, Hunter Juracek.
Thank you, Jim. You got all 4 of my free throws and my 1 3-point shot I made during my career. That's awesome that that was in the paper. And by a show of hands, if David didn't thank you, raise your hand. All right. Well, thank you. Maybe he'll get to you next banquet. But at least I know now where to get cheap gas, cheap cars, and cheap shirts. Right. Well, it is great to be back in Little Rock, and great to have an opportunity to be with each of you today at the Little Rock Touchdown Club. What a famous club you have. It's throughout this country, people know about the Little Rock Touchdown Club. You see all the awards you have here. You recognize football and young men achieving great things at all levels. So kudos to you for what you do and how you recognize football, not only through the state of Arkansas, but throughout this country. What a great sport football is. And on behalf of the University of Arkansas, I want to thank you guys also for spearheading our Southwest Conference Hall of Fame induction piece. I know we've got some inductees here in November 5th, is that right? And obviously our history is very rich, and we thank you guys for taking the time to recognize the history we have here at the University of Arkansas. So thank you very much, and the Southwestern Conference obviously a big part of that. So I had some prepared remarks that I had finished up on Friday. I'm going to adjust those a little bit, and I'll get to those remarks on Friday, but let me talk a little bit about our football program. What I have found out is that we have a very passionate fan base at the University of Arkansas. And right now that passionate fan base is disappointed in the start to the 2018 season. I share in your disappointment. I'm also disappointed in the way that our football season has started this year. But I can promise you one thing. Chad Morris, John Chavis, Joe Craddock, and our other full-time coaches, and those 125 football players in that locker room, wherever your level of disappointment is, I promise you that their level of disappointment is much, much greater. Okay? Much, much greater. I've been in the locker room the last 2 weeks. I can promise you, however low you think you are, they're a lot lower than you are. Okay? But here's what, I'm not here to sugarcoat anything, and I'm not here to try to temper your disappointment. But what I am here to tell you today is that within our football program and within our Department of Athletics, no one is settling. No one is throwing in the towel on a season that's 3 games old. And most importantly, no one is turning their back on our head coach, our coaching staff, or those young men in that locker room. Everybody faces adversity in life. And when you go through adversity, you really find out the true character of a person when they go through that adversity. When people are going through adversity, they like to point the finger. They like to place blame. They like to turn their backs. But I can tell you, through this adversity and this storm we're going through as a football program right now, turning our back on this football program is not going to help us at the University of Arkansas and our football program achieve their goals. 10 months ago when we hired Chad Morris, we knew we had a long way to go to build a championship program. As I sit here today, we still have a long journey to go to build a championship program. I have the utmost confidence in Chad Morris and the staff he's put together that we're going to get there. I don't have an exact timetable for you on when that's going to happen. I will tell you, though, back in January, when I was sitting in the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta, Georgia, getting ready for kickoff of the Alabama-Georgia National Championship game, I sent our head coach a simple text. It said, Houston, 2024. Houston, 2024. That's the site of the 23-season national championship game 6 years from now. That's our vision for the football program at the University of Arkansas. And by the way, Coach Morris sent me a simple thumbs up in response to that. Look, I want to thank our fans that were at the Eastern Illinois game as we opened up a beautifully renovated Razorback Stadium a few weeks ago, and that were there with us on Saturday. One of the things that makes the University of Arkansas and the state of Arkansas so special is our fans and the passion of our fans. But what we have to understand is when we win as one Razorback family, and when we lose as one Razorback family. And we're going to accomplish great things as one Razorback family, I promise you. So hang in there with us. So that's the end of my football spiel, okay? So now on to my more prepared remarks. Okay. I was sitting down at dinner last night talking to my wife, Jennifer, of 25 years, and Jennifer always has great advice for me, and I was saying, you know, I'm going to speak at the Touchdown Club in Little Rock tomorrow. Sweetheart, do you have any great advice for me? She always has great advice, and she said, Hunter, she said, I've heard you speak before. She said, don't try to be smart. Don't try to be charming. Don't try to be funny. She said, just be yourself. Do we have any husbands that get advice like that from their spouses? Yeah. They're great for that, aren't they? So I'm going to try to listen to my wife's advice a little bit. You know, I don't have any hobbies. I'm a pretty simple person. I think it's important that you guys get to know me as your new athletic director, and I think I can live with that title maybe a few more days now that I've been here 9 or 10 months. But I've got 3 passions in my life: my faith, my family, and college athletics. I can't remember a day in my life in the past 15 to 20 years, and I'm surprised you didn't find this in your research, that my morning hasn't started with a cup of coffee and a time in devotion and prayer. It really sets the course for my day, and especially now as a leader of 3 sons and a wife and 465 student athletes, it really helps set the course for my day to make sure that I make the right decisions for all the people that I lead. My second passion in life is my family. As I mentioned, my wife, Jennifer, of almost 25 years, we've moved 8 times. She's taken and made 8 houses a home for me and my family. As I've been away, she's helped raise what I consider as 3 wonderful boys, and she's always been a rock in there beside me. I've got 3 boys. My oldest, Ryan, is 22 years old. He had the opportunity to be a tight end at Marshall University and just graduated this past year, and now he's on the practice squad as a football with the Oakland Raiders. My middle, you can clap for that. My middle son, Jake, is a freshman on the football team at the University of Colorado. He got to dress out this past weekend against New Hampshire and got his first official tackle as a member of the Colorado Buffaloes. And then our poor youngest son, Brooks, who's the only one left at home with mom and dad. He's 14 in the 8th grade at Woodland Junior High in Fayetteville, and he also plays football and basketball. He's a little conflicted. One of his brothers was a tight end, the other's a linebacker, so Brooks decided he was going to play tight end and linebacker until he decides which one he wants to follow. And then my final passion, after my faith and my family, is college athletics. I'm now entering my 26th year in college athletics, and I can't tell you that there's another passion that I have in my life from a professional standpoint that I'd want to do other than what I do. If someone told me I had to step away tomorrow from being an administrator in college athletics, I have absolutely no idea where I would turn. I am so blessed to be in a profession that I am passionate about. And before I got into this business, did you know I worked at a bank? That wasn't, you couldn't find that.
That wasn't in the paper.
That didn't make the paper. So I had a business degree, and I worked at a bank one of my first 2 years out of college. I probably took 10 to 12 sick days working at a bank over the course of the year. In my 25 years in college athletics, I've only taken 1 sick day. Now, the good Lord's blessed me with a great deal of health, but even when I've been sick, I enjoy going to the office every day and being around competitive young men and women and our coaches and our staff. So those are my 3 passions in life: my faith, my family, and college athletics. I've had the privilege of spending the past 10 months traveling around the great state of Arkansas and meeting many of our constituents and learning about what makes this state so special and learning about the fabric of this state. I've talked about the passionate fan base. It's probably the thing that's been the most surprising to me in a good way. You hear about Arkansas and the fan base here, but we have a very great and passionate fan base. And as I traveled around the state and met Razorback fans across this state, one of the things I was certain of is the Department of Athletics is indeed the front porch at the University of Arkansas. And in many instances, it's the front porch to this state. And it's the first impression that you get. It's the front porch of your house, right? And we want that first impression to be great, and we want it to be something that you're really, really proud of. A little bit of my history lesson on the front porch at the University of Arkansas has produced the following: 46 team national championships, 218 conference championships, including 127 since joining the SEC, 41 bowl game appearances, 7 Final Four appearances, 6 by the men and 1 by our women, 9 college World Series appearances, and 65 Olympians have worn the Razorback Cardinal and white. You could clap for that. So that set the foundation for what our student athletes are doing so well right now. There's an annual report on your table. You don't have to open it up right now, but Kevin Trainer has said you have to take it home with you because he's not taking it back with him. And he's got plenty of extras, right, Kevin? But to kind of summarize what's in there, we would like to group the success of our student athletes in 3 categories: academic success, athletic success, and success in their personal development. Here's a little bit of the success our student athletes enjoyed during the past year. 131 student athletes graduated from the University of Arkansas. That's 90% of the 145 student athletes who exhausted their athletic eligibility during the past year. We had a 3.25 cumulative GPA. That's 465 student athletes working together for a cumulative GPA of 3.25. We had 72 that had a perfect 4.0 and 306 that had a 3.0 or better. Athletically, we had 2 national runner-ups, of course, our baseball program and our women's indoor track and field program. We had 4 individual national champions. We had 1 National Player of the Year. We won 4 Southeastern Conference championships. We had 14 teams that participated in the NCAA postseason championship events. We finished ranked 16th in the Learfield Directors Cup, which is a summation of how your athletic teams do throughout the year compared to the over 300 Division I institutions. We finished 16th in the country, and we're the highest ranked program with 19 sports or fewer. We had 4 programs finish the year ranked in the top 10 nationally, and during their respective seasons, we had 10 other programs that were ranked in the top 25 during the course of the year. As far as student-athlete development goes, we can summarize that in one area, and that's community service. On top of their academic achievements and their athletic achievements, our 465 student-athletes combined to give over 5,000 hours of service back to 100 organizations in our community. So looking ahead, one of the things that I did when I first arrived is I wanted to make sure that our staff and our coaches and our student-athletes were all on the same page. I mentioned that I was a fairly simple person, and I wanted to simplify what our vision, what our mission, and what our focus was for everyone surrounding our department. Our vision is simple. It's to be the best. I know that sounds very cliche-ish, and so how do you define what the best is? Well, right now we have 465 student-athletes, and you just heard that we had 145 that exhausted their athletic eligibility during the past year. If we're going to be the best, whatever that number is each and every year where student-athletes exhaust their athletic eligibility, we want 100% of those student-athletes to earn a degree at the University of Arkansas. Okay? You can't do any better than 100% of your student-athletes graduating, can you? We'd be defined as the best. We have 19 sports programs. If we're going to be the best athletically, we need 19 sports programs to have an opportunity to compete for and win conference and national championships. So when we're graduating 100% of our student-athletes and we have 19 sports programs that are competing for and winning conference and national championships, that's how we'll use the metric to define if we're the best. Our mission is building Razorbacks and champions for life. What does that mean? My job as a director of athletics is to work with our coaches and our administrative team and our support staff to create opportunities for each and every one of our 465 student-athletes to have success academically, athletically, and in their personal development. And I truly believe if we equip them, if they have success in those 3 areas, and again, we're only creating the opportunity for our student-athletes. They have to take and make the most of those opportunities, and I speak to our student-athletes about that each and every day. But if they take and make the most of those opportunities, they're going to earn a degree, they're going to win a championship, and they're going to leave the University of Arkansas with the skill set and equipped to be a Razorback and a champion in whatever they decide to do in life. And that's our mission. And our focus day in and day out is on the success of our student-athletes. When our student-athletes have success, we're going to have success as a department. I just outlined the success that our student-athletes are having academically and athletically and in their personal development, and we are indeed having success as a department with the focus on the success of our student-athletes. So let's give our student-athletes at the University of Arkansas a big hand. And if that wasn't enough, again, take those annual reports with you. Kevin will be very happy that you did so. So as I traveled throughout the state, again, I learned a lot about the passion of Razorback fans. They're passionate about things about what soft drink we should have, like Pepsi or Coke. See? They're passionate about what logo should be at midcourt, the current logo or the Slobbering Hog logo. They're passionate about what color jersey we should wear. Is it cardinal, is it white, or is it anthracite? Oh, whoa. Well, I touched a nerve there, didn't I? Did I mention anthracite? See, it holds true. It holds true. One of the things I learned quickly, though, is that games in Little Rock are part of the fabric of this state. How ironic that I'm standing here one day before the 70th anniversary of the first game played here at War Memorial Stadium. and excited to be able to come back here, not only in football, because that's a big part of it, but our men's and women's basketball teams are coming here to Little Rock. Our baseball team plays here. Little Rock is a part of this state. We wear Arkansas across our jerseys because we represent this entire state. Playing games against other schools within the state of Arkansas. I had no idea how many schools were in the state. Thank you for that history lesson. We're only going to open it up, that box up to schools within the University of Arkansas system currently, but excited that we're going to be playing the University of Arkansas at Little Rock and University of Arkansas Pine Bluff in baseball games this season up at Baum Stadium, and then I think you'll see some other sports. They don't have the obligation, but now they have the opportunity to schedule any of our system schools for competition moving forward. So I think you'll see that evolve as well. How many of you guys have been to our beautifully renovated Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium? Give that a hand. How about that? Is that not an impressive facility? Now we have a 360-degree concourse. Anybody been able to walk the whole stadium? Anybody feel like doing that on Saturday? I did that on Saturday, by the way. We have self-scanning tickets. We've got new local food offerings, Slim Chickens, Dickey's Barbecue, and a tropical smoothie cafe. We've got great historical displays and the wild band of Razorback monuments. They tell me the water will be on sometime this week. You guys seen that monument? That's unbelievable. And a great picture opportunity there. Some other facility things we have in the works. We just sent out an RFQ, or a request for qualifications, for architectural firms and general contractors for 3 major projects at the University of Arkansas, the first being a clubhouse for our baseball program. Baum Stadium was voted as one of the best places for a fan, the best place for a fan to watch a college baseball game, but we have fallen behind in the amenities that we offer for our student athletes. And so we're going to look at building a 40,000 square foot plus baseball clubhouse that will frame in right field there at Baum Stadium. The first level of that 3-story building will have pitching tunnels, hitting bays, and a kind of a storage area for our lawnmowers and things that maintain our field. The second level will be a student-athlete only level with a new locker room, a new team room, a new strength and conditioning center, an athletic training room, and a hall of champions, really to display the success of our baseball program. The third level will be our coach's office level. And then we're looking at some fan amenities outside on the porch overlooking the bullpen there that would be somewhere like the loge boxes that we currently have in the north end zone facility there at Razorback Stadium. The second project on the books is a track and field, outdoor track and field operations building. We've won 43 national championships in track and field, and right now the locker rooms that we have for our men's and women's program do not depict the success of our program. And so we're looking to build roughly a 20,000 square foot locker room facility for our men's and women's track and field programs. In 2021, we have the opportunity to host a national championship on our campus at the Randall Tyson Indoor Track and Field Center, and we're looking to do a major renovation to that project, somewhere in the neighborhood of $15 to $20 million in preparation for that national championship event. We also have contracted with an architect to do a feasibility study on Bud Walton Arena and Barnhill to see what the next steps are for each of those venues on our campus. And so we just finished up a $160 million project. We're busy identifying what other things that we can do on our campus. And talking about that $160 million project, if I could have our Razorback Athletic Foundation staff stand up, please, and stay standing. We had a goal to raise $40 million, and I think it shows the hard work of this staff and the incredible support that we get across this state that we were able to raise $44.3 million in private funds for that facility. Well, I am right on time, David. This is awesome. All right. I'm going to open up for questions.
All right. Let me, Madam Mahat, yeah, let me be first. Okay, Debbie's got mics on each side. Let me be first since I'm the president. I can be first. Hunter,
you didn't say you got to ask the question.
We on our radio show this morning on 103.7 The Buzz, the hot topic was the booing that took place at the game. From an athletic director's perspective, what's your thoughts on that?
We live in the greatest country in the world. You buy a ticket to come to a sporting event, you have the right to respond at how that sporting event is going in your opinion. Not the way I would respond. And for those that booed, think of your son or your daughter or your grandson or your granddaughter being the one down on that field and see if that's how you'd want to respond.
Johnny? Go ahead, Johnny. Yep.
I was reading last week the Forbes article relating to college athletic programs, and even though Arkansas has a high amount of money that's contributed related to the SEC, there's a lot of schools that can do more. So my question is, how do you keep from comparing yourselves to the Alabamas and other people and being able to focus on being the best for the Razorback program?
Sure, that's a great question, and budgets within the Southeastern Conference are in the low 100 millions. You've got Texas A&M that's over 200 million, and that's within our conference, and we're funded very well. Our budget going into this year is about 125 million, and we've done a facility assessment. We have a long-range facility project plan, and I just mentioned some of those facilities, and we're going to do what's best for the University of Arkansas, and we're going to build the facilities, and we're going to fund our sports programs, and we're going to hire coaches, and we're going to pay them what makes sense at the University of Arkansas. So, what I tell coaches all the time when they come in with an idea for a need or a want, I said, don't come in here and tell me that they have this at Texas A&M, or they have this at Alabama, or they have this at Auburn. You come in and tell me how this is going to help our student athletes have success at the University of Arkansas.
You got one? Real quick. Go ahead if you've got it. Go ahead, Debbie, if you have one over here. Who's got one? Someone have one? Here, real quick over here. Here, Grant, we'll let you do this right here.
Hunter, I came in Danny Ford's first recruiting class in the early 90s. We were brand new to the SEC. He took over a team that had lost to the Citadel. It wasn't a very good atmosphere. And from the first team meeting that I was a part of, it was apparent that there was a lack of leadership within the team and a lack of discipline within the team. You fast forward 5 years, and we're a top 10 ranked team in the country. We started off 8-0, went to Tennessee. We all know how that wound up. But my point is, it took us 5 years for Danny to develop his culture and his team and his disciplinary regime there at Arkansas. In my limited time that I've got to hang around Coach Morris, I get the sense that he has all of those characteristics to develop that leadership, to develop the disciplinary program, to do the X's and O's part of Arkansas. I'm really excited about him being here. Can you give us some specific things that you've seen out of Coach Morris that lead you to believe that he has those qualities and that it's going to be developed at the university?
Sure. And I think you're exactly right. Creating a culture does not happen overnight. And one real small tidbit that I noticed very quickly, when you talk about discipline, the first time Coach Morris and I, we were hired within 24 hours of each other. We took a tour of our football facilities, including the locker room there in the Smith Center. And as we walked around the locker room, there was trash on the floor, there was clothes on the floor, dirty laundry, you name it. It didn't look like a respectable locker room per se in a building that was just 5 years old. I guarantee if you walk through that same locker room today, that there's absolutely no clothes on the floor, there's no trash on the floor, and it's spotless. And that's not just our players. Part of that is our student athletes, but that's the culture that Coach Morris is building throughout our program and permeates throughout our program, and just the little bit of the discipline. I mean, what he stresses each and every day is you've got to do the little things right. You've got to do the little things right. If you can't do the little things right, how can you do the big things? Got to be able to take care of the attention to detail and all the little things that matter. And that's going to take time because you are changing a culture within our football program. And sometimes you have to take a step or two backwards before you can take 1 or 2 or 3 steps forward. And I think that's what you're seeing now as this culture kind of starts to take hold. We may have taken a step backwards from where we are competitively or where we want to be. But I think you'll see us soon take some steps forward, and you'll start to see a method to that madness.
One more question over here. Yeah, Andrew.
Yes, thank you, David.
College football, according to the Wall Street Journal, Hunter, has an attendance problem nationwide. There was a big article, written a weekend before last. Of course, I don't mean Alabama and Ohio State, but just about all the others. There's some thoughts that today's young people don't want to go to games for 3.5 hours. They want to see highlights on their cell phones and all going forward. Are you and your other your fellow ADs concerned about this situation in college football? And does college football have an attendance problem? Indeed.
Well, I think sports in general has an attendance problem, and I think it's because there's so many games. As TV has evolved, I mean, just about every major college football game that's played now is on TV, and we all have TVs that range anywhere from 65 inches to 100 inches with movie screens and surround sound, and you sit on your comfortable couch. You don't wait in traffic. You don't have to stand in line to wait in a restroom. And so, one of the things we've done at the University of Arkansas this past year is we've created a department that's just about the guest experience and our fan experience. And we have a mantra that says every experience matters, because we're going to make sure as a Razorback fan, from the minute you pull off the interstate and into one of our parking lots, that you're going to have a great experience as a fan, from how traffic transitions in and out of our stadium, to how you get into the venue, to the concession offerings we have and the premium amenities, and how the ushers and people speak to you and talk to you, and how they're informed about the stadium. We don't want fans to have any reason when they come to a game not to come again. And so that's a piece of it that we're attacking. We're going to put, we've got the funds to put Wi-Fi in Baum Stadium, Bud Walton Arena, as well as Razorback Stadium here over the next 12 months to try to help with that service for our younger fans. And then we're looking at amenities for our young alumni. And does it make sense to change some of our offerings to appeal to that generation that does not want to sit for 3.5 hours at a sporting event, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, what have you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Hunter Yurachek. Thanks, Hunter, for being here. Well done. All right. For those of you who want to have your pictures made, come on up, your pictures made. And then for the media, Hunter will be available over here by the step repeat here in just a few minutes.